What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Squawk, AC's podcast, your favorite Pokemon podcaster's favorite Pokemon podcast. On today's episode, we are going to talk about the Atlanta Regional Championships that are happening at the end of this week. The Champions League in Japan also finished this past weekend, and things look kind of the same. And the Nintendo Switch 2 is $500, which one person on this co-host definitely is invested in, and the other person is the Pony Bottle Champ himself, Mr. George Fabray. George, happy Tuesday, buddy. How you doing?
Hi. I'll probably buy the Switch 2 because there is actually a really big thing that came out recently. What will be on the Switch 2 that, if you know my age and what I grew up playing, the GameCube is going to be on Switch 2, and that's very exciting for me. A lot of games on there that I like. But yeah, man, what's up? I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good, and we will talk more about all of that fun stuff regarding the Switch 2 in the later half of our episode. But for at least the first half of our programming today, we're joined by a guest. Joining us for the second time is the third half of this three-headed monsters that we know as the Burger Boys. Another subsection.
Minus Harrell. Zucchini Boys.
Yeah, minus Harrell, because Harrell might be like hour 23 deep into like a 48-hour slumber right now. So it's Andrew Mallach. Andrew,
hello,
Mr. Zucchini Boy. How you doing?
It's good to be back. It's good to have an episode with George, even though it's only half of one today. But you know what? I'll take what I can get.
Yeah. You know. Andrew is joining us for the first half of today's programming because you two are going to the Atlanta Regionals. I'm not. So
you stink.
I do stink. And we've established this over the course of multiple weeks. So
wait, you're not going?
No, I'm not.
Actually, you're a loser. Gotcha.
Yes.
So true.
I'm
true.
just gonna go.
True and
right
true.
Yeah, that's
pretty true. Yeah, pretty true.
All right, trying to keep you two in line is gonna cause my hair to grow.
I'm only here for half an hour, bro. You don't got to deal with me that much.
Sorry. So we'll keep this concise. We'll keep this quick. The Atlanta Regional Championships are on our doorstep right now. Everybody's doing last minute preps. Everybody's entering their last second limitless tournaments. Closed lists. Everyone's trying to squeeze the last of their testing out. So I think because I know where George has been thinking for the last couple of weeks now. But Andrew, where has your raise of emotions been going into this weekend? How are you feeling? Are you feeling confident? Like, we're entering a rotation tournament. How are you coping with what we got going on here?
So I gotta be honest. If you asked me this a week ago, I would have said, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling like I got my deck choice down. I'm feeling like I'm ready for this new format. I'm gonna get to that. Don't worry. Last night. Oh, I should preface this based off what George just showed us. My deck of choice leading up to this was Terrabox. I was playing that for the past 3 weeks. Just making changes every now and then. It's overall, it's felt strong, right? It's a strong deck. However, last night I think I had the worst string of games I've played with that deck so far. I don't know what it is, man, but something is just not right. And it's crazy.
I think I figured out the lines for Guardy against Terrabox last night too. Just don't take knockouts and then Monkey Dory at the end, and you can't.
Yeah, that's good. But Terrabox, it's weird, man. It feels strong, but it also just feels like you just need to sack your opponent really hard. If you don't see Fan Rotom at the start of the game, you feel like a loser. You bench a freaking Hoot attached to a water pond and pass, and you're great, awesome board state, dude.
Well, how many Buddy Poffins are you playing?
0.
See, that's okay. So this is what my thing is. You were obviously very successful, getting day 2 twice, 2 different regionals this year with Palkia Terapagos, right?
Sure.
You played Buddy Poffin in that deck, and you played Fan Rotom. So what? I think that those 2 decks are very, very similar.
And I agree. That's why I picked up the deck in the first place. In the Palkia deck, I played one. I played one Poffin in both lists. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, definitely it was one.
But like, all right. So my question is like, did that one buddy Poffin in your 2 tournament runs? Like, how useful was it, and like, why are you not putting one buddy Poffin
So
this list then?
it's because in that deck, it wasn't really about like seeing it on turn one to get your fan rotems out because Palkia and Terapagos, your two main attackers in that deck, their damage relied on how many bench Pokemon you have. So a lot of the time, Buddy Poffin is not a turn one card. It was a way to get more damage, like search out more damage with Noctowl.
Hmm.
Like you use a Noctowl, you get a Buddy Poffin, you get 2 more Hoots. That's plus 40 more damage for Palkia. That's plus 60 more damage for Terapagos. I mean, you're also playing Clefairy and Terapagos in the Terabox deck, but I just feel like it was like more important for the Palkia deck, if that makes sense.
I think what I'm witnessing as someone that's on the outside looking in is that while Terra Box is very strong, and this can be said about a lot of other decks in the format right now, where every deck feels really strong right now, the shortcomings are also very obvious. And I think you're seeing the strength of the Noctowl engine, where if you're able to get established, you have a full board of Noctowls at your disposal, then being able to cherry pick anything you want out of your deck is proven to be very, very effective, both in formats
Mm-hmm.
past and in testing so far. The problem is that was really, really good in conjunction with the other stuff that you had. Like you said, being able to, search out those small HP Pokemon with a Buddy Poffin late in the game when you have attackers like Palkia that can power itself up and Terapagos that could power itself up with one energy attachment in formats past. It's able to that on top of being able to search out anything you want is also really, really good. And you're kind of seeing now where you only have that one, maybe 2 turns of the Noctowl engine to kind of get something going. And if
Yeah.
you're not able to chain attackers together, you're going to run into a lot of problems. So I think while that engine is very strong, it's also very fragile in that you're only going to have like 2 or 3 bullets in this chamber at max, and you really have to maximize on your sequencing, which is why, again, Terra Box falls into that same problem of, a high skills floor deck that rewards really strong play, but you have to kind of map out your turns like 2 or 3 turns in advance, or you're going to run out of gas.
Yeah, and also another thing about Terapagos in the Palkia deck, you had Glass Trumpet too, which,
Yeah.
like for that deck, it's like how you would attack with Terapagos in a single turn. But like exactly like you said, right? Let's say you like go first, you get some Noctowls out, you attach to a Water Pond Pass. Next turn, you go Noctowl, Crispin Crystal, Torrential Pump, kill 2 guys. You're feeling on top of the world, and then you get Ionoed, and then you get like you're fighting this Dragapult. Like you get Ionoed, you get Badooed. What then?
Yeah.
Sob?
Yeah.
I
You're
mean,
gonna sob the Badoo?
that's
Like Sob's a good attack, but it only gets you so far.
well, that's
Like,
what you were doing against me yesterday. You would pull off the turn 2 torrential pump, blow up my potential guard EX setup. Then I'd be like, all right, whatever. We're just going to go into Badoo and Iono here, and I'm just going to get set up again.
yeah.
And I'm just going to chill. I'm going to wait. And then towards the end of the game, I'm just double monkey, screen tail, taking like not knockouts with guard EX, just setting up 190 damage here. Cause that's the big problem, I think, with the deck more than anything. It's really easy to set up damage and then later on go in with Monkey Dory and just take 4 knockouts really easily with double Monkey because everything's only 210 HP.
Yeah, and in that matchup specifically, it's like Water Pond. Like, what else is your opening supposed to be? Like assault landing? Like you're gonna have to do that sometimes, but like
Yeah.
you don't want to be assault landing like a Ralts in the active or whatever. It's like fine, but you're just not really doing much.
Taking a single prize knockout like nowadays feels so bad because like I feel like if you're not setting the pace, I think this has maybe been a problem for the last few formats. It's just been like a little bit less obvious because the power level's been so tuned up. for the last few, year and a half.
Yeah.
But taking a one prize knockout and then, turning on all your opponents like insanely busted, like comeback cards, like unfair stamp in some cases, counter catcher in other cases, and then you either get Badu locked or you're going to get, Sob locked, or you're just going to set your opponent up on to accelerate their prize race. It just feels really bad. And I think I'm going to go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, just like I didn't want to lose like track of that though. I would say that taking a one prize knockout sometimes isn't bad though in this format. Like,
Sure.
how many times, Andrew, like as you've seen testing, whether it's versus you, whether it's versus Brad Brown, like you guys have one hoo. I'm taking out that hoo every single time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll go hoo knockout. You put down another one. I'm like, I'm just going to do it again. Knock out my Scream Tail again. I'm just going to take it. And I get it. Like Guardy is different. Guardy is a longer play, but like Guardy also plays a lot like Dragapult. So like, why would Dragapult not want to just Halucha Ping, knock out only a hoo at that point too, take a one prizer, stay behind, have counter catcher available all game, and then just later on set up your damage and win the game later on.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
I think it goes both ways, Kyle. I think either you're going 1-1-2-2 or you're going 2-2-2.
Yeah. I don't think knocking out the engine's necessarily a bad thing. And I think
Right.
I'll pen my next question to you, George, because we've kind of gotten, we know where you're kind of feeling where you're going to end up next weekend. So I think I'll pose this question of like, we'll call it fraud watch. Like what deck do you think is, but I think Terror Box is a easy contender for that. And you can make a lot of case for a lot of decks, but like, what's a deck that you think is like going to get played in decently high numbers, but could have like that Lugia certain where it like converts really poorly or falls flat on its face?
I think honestly Dragapult, even though I'm here saying right now, I think Dragapult's really strong. It's going to probably be the most played in day one, have the biggest play rate. I think it might have the worst conversion rate though going into day two. Lily's Clefairy is far too strong. And I don't know, like it's also like, all right, it's a weird thing to say because I could see Dragapult winning the tournament. I could also see only one in top 8 and it'd be the winner. You get what I mean?
Sure.
Like I think that it's really strong, but it's also it needs to be piloted by the right person. Another deck that I think is a fraud is, and I'm getting this from Omnipoke. I was sharing this earlier with Andrew, but like Zacian, Hop Zacian is up there in B tier. I don't see that deck doing well at all. And if people are going to bring that and think that it's going to do well, like I think you're very, very much mistaken.
I will, as the resident Hopzation glazer in the group chat, I can chime in on this one. And I did watch Joe's video that he did last night while I was like doing work in my apartment. I think that deck is good in the first like 2 to 4 prize cards, but once you've kind of gassed yourself out of your resources, you are kind of swimming up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. It feels like sometimes, like, because it's very easy for your opponent to kind of like formulate their turns of like where they're gonna strategically put their damage. Like ideally, you want that deck does best when your opponent is like struggling to set up. Because like say you only get like 2 hoot downs or 2 small guys down on your opening turn, I have the potential depending on what build of the deck that I'm playing, because the Monkey Dory build has been really popular of that. I've been playing the Iron Valiant version, which I think is like a little bit more you give yourself a little bit more room for error there.
Yeah.
But ideally it's like, okay, you switch in and out of the active a couple times, you move some damage around Tachyon bits, and then you clear the board of the engine or you clear the board of the main threats. And then your opponent's kind of stuck once again, spinning their wheels, trying to reset up again. And I think that's where the deck is good. Like Snorlax is like an okay single prize attacker. You're being able to hit 210 with Cramorant is obviously very effective. It's relevant numbers, which is why I think the deck is being played very highly. But again, like you get late game Iono'd, you don't play any Pokemon recovery in that deck. So you lose your Fez, you lose your Ursaluna, you lose your Latias. You're losing a lot of resources endgame with that deck. So I think anyone that chooses to bring that, Godspeed. You have my blessings. Have fun. I'm sure someone will pop up with that deck. They're gonna have the right bracket path because there's gonna be a lot of people going.
You want to hear a fraud deck?
Yeah, go for it by all means.
Poison Archaladon.
Oh, okay. Talk about
deck,
it.
I mean, look, Poison Package is scary, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's still Archaladon. Like, he's just a big beater, not really doing that much. Like,
Just a
you
big
get
dog
around.
war.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go with that. He's a big. He's just a big
Dalwar.
chungus. He's a big chungus. Dog war.
I think the poison package is cute. And I think that version. I don't know how they're gonna choose to group Archaladon on the graphic. I'm assuming they're gonna put all of it in one sort of grouping like they did with the Lost Box near the end of its days. I think the poison package gives you the best percentages into the stuff that's really good, because something we've been preaching for the last yes, George is drinking smart water to make him smart. As for those of you not watching the video version. But I think you have to ask yourself two questions: is if Terra Box is going to be played in that high of a capacity, what are the two big things you have to go through? How do you get through Pikachu in one hit, Pikachu EX? How do you get through Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon? And Archaladon can go through one of those things pretty easily, which is the Pikachu with the poison package. Yes. Otherwise, you kind of run into some issues there. So, and also you have the turn one donk potential, which is cringe and kind of lame, but it's a condition that the deck didn't have previously. So
you can technically attack with Duraludon into Cornerstone. Technically speaking, you can. Yeah, yes. You don't want to be doing that, but
no.
You got to take what you can get when Cornerstone's in the format.
Cornerstone Masters is very good right now. So
Cornerstone is a top 5 card in the game right now.
You're going to be seeing some jank stuff in a lot of people's decks just to try to deal with that guy.
Yeah.
So that's a good question, Andrew. You said Cornerstone is a top 5 card in the format. I know what I think. What I would say the top 5 cards are, just not even Pokemon, just in general,
well, hold on. But before we get there, can I throw someone in the ring for Fraud Watch?
Oh yeah, please.
Of course.
Wow.
We love Hayden.
I'm going to throw again a deck very near and dear to my heart. I'm going to throw Goldengo on Fraud Watch this weekend.
Disagree.
I
don't know about fraud.
It's hard to call it fraud because I think it's actually going to be very appropriately played. I don't see the deck being anything higher than maybe 6 to 8%. Because the deck is very strong. It's the same story it's always been for Goldengo, where it's this deck has enough going for it to where it can hang around with the big dogs. And I think it got kind of power crept out by the V-Stars. And now that the V-Stars are gone, maybe that ceiling gets a little bit higher. Jury's out on whether that's true or not. But I think the problem with this deck is very shaky turn ones. Sometimes you don't have a lot of the agency that other decks do. That in terms of getting yourself established. And in my testing, I've learned that this deck, you can Badoo lock very late into the game against this deck, and you just do not have a win condition. So
it's also
the same goes for last format too.
Yeah. It also does very poorly against Mindbend, doesn't it, Kyle?
It does, but it's always struggled against Gardevoir. So it's that doesn't really
flex, dude.
Yeah. That doesn't shock me because it's always struggled in the Gardevoir.
Dude, when I played you the other day and I was like, wait, I just need him to flip tails a couple times and this is really easy match.
I haven't won a coin flip against George in a month. If you want to put it that way. I flipped 6 coins against George and all of them have been failures. So it's just
I think
this is kind of the game we play.
Commenting a little bit more about Goldengo, I think it natively has a very good Terra Box matchup because their only real way to one-shot a Goldengo is Pikachu. And your Dragapult matchup would be bad, but a lot of people are playing Monkey Dory in that deck now.
I think your Dragapult matchup is better than your Terra Box matchup because, like you said, the Pikachu, even it's your one-shot option, and it completely nullifies what makes Goldengo a good deck into a lot of matchups. It's that it has a very awkward HP cost to where a lot of things don't really have the tools right away to one-shot it. And Pikachu just takes all that out of the equation. Unless they're punching into you with something early, they're never going to leave damage on the board for you to be able to return KO on it. So again, you're going to see a lot of jank cards in your Goldengo decks, like Vengeful Punch, to try to put damage on a Pikachu. So that way you can return KO it.
You also gotta be
and also you
playing-
just get completely like smoked by Cornerstone Mask if you don't have
Baby
a way to get around
Dango.
that.
Baby Dango.
That card sucks. But again, you're not wrong. Again, that's this. I'm going to say that about a lot of cards that people are going to have to play because it was like playing in a format without Super Rod or like Ordinary Rod, where your Pokemon recovery is Miriam. It's like, man, this card sucks.
That shit
But this is
sucked.
all we have to play with right now. The card pool's a lot smaller, so people are going to have to, dig deep.
I just thought about something.
What's up?
Call me crazy.
I'm calling you crazy.
Yes, you are crazy.
What if I just figured out what the attacker in Goldengo should be versus Cornerstone?
I'm scared. I'm scared to hear it.
Tapu Koko EX.
Oh, brother.
You play Double Lightning because you play Levincia.
Not all the builds play Levincia, though. That's the
Well,
thing,
if you don't, you're an idiot, and I hate you.
okay. Easy there, bucko.
No, the answer is just Scizor.
No, but that's a stage 2. And
Well, it's not. It's stage 1.
It's a stage 1.
Stage
and it attacks
1.
and it attacks
that's
for
what I
1
meant.
energy. The baby one attacks for 1 energy. And you also have the EX, which is also like
The baby
pretty
one, you
decent.
can't attack Cornerstone with it as ability.
Yes, you can.
No, you
can.
can. It doesn't have an ability. It
doesn't.
doesn't have an ability.
What do you mean?
There's 2 attacks.
The,
One
pun-
is irrelevant.
the punishing scissors attack Scizor does not have an ability.
Oh, it doesn't. You're right.
Yeah. It's just, yeah.
But Tapu Koko.
No. Play Scizor.
Tapu Koko.
My issue with Scizor is that it's the same problem that like where, for example, as the Dunsparce EX is strongest soldier, it's the same kind of problem where your opponent can sort of map out that turn ahead of time and just kind of mitigate how many Pokemon they have with abilities on their side of the field. So
8 bench Pokemon in game. Tapu Koko knocks it out. 1 shot. See ya. Bye.
let's move on to George's second question now.
Okay, so the top 5 cards in the format for me, I'll kick it off. I would say at number 5, I would say Cornerstone. Number 4, I would say Lily's Clefairy. And number 3, I would say Badoo. And number 2, I would say Night Stretcher. And number 1, I would say Monkey Dory.
Okay, Andrew, do you have anything to add on that? Anything? What are your top 5 cards in terms of power level right now in the format?
Night Stretcher is a very interesting choice.
How good is Night Stretcher right now?
I mean, it's a good card, but like
It's
you're
so.
putting- it's not
so-
like it's a power card that swings matchups like the
I
other
think it
ones that you're
absolutely
describing.
I think it absolutely swings matchups. The ability to like disrupt, and then if you get into Stretcher or get Arvin Stretcher, bring back a card that like people are trying to disrupt you on, like especially bring back Fez to draw 3. Like
No. All I'm saying is people are doing that anyway, like
Okay.
as a consistency.
all right, so
piece.
let's just say Pokemon. All right, so then
Yeah.
I'll
Keep
put
it simple.
Put Badoo up to 2, and then 3, I'll lay in there. I haven't really given this a thought. Okay, let's bump everything up 1. So we'll go 1. So my 5, I will say
He'll get there.
Water
Get there.
Pond. So we'll say Water Pond at 5, 4 Cornerstone, 3
Monkey
Lily's
Dory
Clefairy,
or
Lily's
Clefairy,
Clefairy,
2
2
Badoo.
Badoo, 1 Monkey Dory.
I can honestly get behind something that looks very similar to that. I think I mean you see a lot of those in Terra Box. Like they love those power cards. I think Monkey Door being number 1. I mean it does swing your Dragapult matchup. Like
swings every matchup.
It swings so many matchups for so many Pokemon. Like I used to laugh at the splashable Monkey Dory in all these City League lists, and now it's like that picture of
they
like
were
Danny
onto something,
DeVito.
man.
Yeah, it's like that crying picture of Danny DeVito from It's Always Sunny, where like he gets, it's like I get it now. Like it makes sense.
Oh, hold on. Number 0 Mamoswine EX.
No.
In our heart.
Best card in the game, bro.
I'm gonna. So I agree mostly with with the Pokemon. That all makes sense. Badoo's very good. Clefairy's very crucial to the game right now. Anything that can snipe the bench right now is also has free reign of the house. Like Heel Mask Ogerpon is an absolute menace to society, which is nuts. I'm gonna give my shot at some trainer cards that I think are very important to the format right now.
Let's hear it.
Let's go for it.
Nice
I
stretcher.
think Night Stretcher is very good. In the decks that utilize it, it's very good. I'm going to say one that sticks out to me is TM Evolution. I think that card is incredibly important in so many decks right now. Going second to get Evo is huge.
Trolley
And
Evo, baby.
yeah, exactly.
Fucking
Trolley
good.
Evo goes stupid hard. And by proxy, Arven, I think, becomes a lot stronger too. I think people were really worried, would the Arven engine survive in formats without Forest Sealstone? Because being able to get Buddy Poffin or being able to get X card and Forest Sealstone to be able to get whatever else you're missing from the combo is very, very good.
Arvin's good early game though. It's not a good late game supporter.
It depends on the deck you play, but I don't disagree with you.
Most of the time, most decks, you want to see Arvin early. That's why you're playing a high count of it. But go ahead. Keep going. Sorry.
Arvin can also get you Countercatcher for game.
And that was where I was going next.
So,
Countercatcher, I think, is very
also
strong
Countercatcher is
right
broken. Yeah, Countercatcher is so stupid.
I'm going to give a shout out to I think people are really going to understand how important a card like Jamming Tower is in the current format.
Yeah.
Especially if given, Sparkling Crystal, obviously very good right now. If Gardevoir is if it's not all just smoke and mirrors, I think people are going to realize if you can try to find a way to get that into your deck, definitely try to include it. We're going to really feel, again, you're really going to feel the loss of a lot of those strong F block cards. I'm sure we already have because we've been testing the hell out of this format already. Yeah. But not being able to get rid of tools is tough. And there's a reason why a lot of these cards I've listed so far are tools. So, I think those are 3 cards, 4 cards so far. You're going to really want to look to include. Crispin too. Yeah. Crispin's the last one I'd mention. Crispin is I still think Crispin is whatever, but I'm kind of glad the card is what it is because if it was any imagine you can Crispin and then they get a draw 3 out of it. That'd be stupid. It'd be insane. So I think Crispin is very strong as well. Shout out Exchange Ticket. That card sucks.
True.
But
yeah, they should reprint Welder. Am I right?
Hey, Rocket Zapdos. Maybe. We'll see what happens.
I can't wait until we see the first combo Noctowl for Exchange Ticket, Dusk Ball to get to supplement Heavy Ball, and way too many cards.
Give that guy the Nobel Peace Prize because they're cooking with some sort of nuclear energy I'm not familiar with. All right, we'll get. We're about nearing the end of Andrew's allotted time here, so we'll wrap it up here. Andrew, call your shot. What's winning the tournament this weekend?
What's winning the tournament? Well, I'll tell you what's not winning first, because I think George was saying that Terapagos Buffalant is going to win the tournament. I don't think that's happening.
100%.
No. That deck, you have one pretty good matchup, and then the rest of it is kind of iffy at best, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I don't see it. But what is winning? What is winning? I kind of want to say Dragapult, man. Dragapult just seems like one of those decks that can just deal with everything. Even for walls, you have pop a bunch of Dusknors, slam an Ursaluna down, and just start swinging with that. That'll beat walls. So, I think something like that could work. I could see maybe Goldango getting its crazy run finally.
We say to pick one.
So many
bro.
top 8.
Pick one.
Dragapult is my top pick.
All right. As much as I would like to say Guardy, because I'm playing Guardy, I also think Guardy heavily underrated. I think people are counting out the queen. She is busted. But I will not go Guardy. I do agree that I think Dragapult will do very well. But overall, Andrew called it out. I do think Tropico's Boufflant, and maybe not like the versions we've seen so far. I think someone's going to cook up something like have a little wrinkle in there. That'll really make it, a little stronger. But
There's some Dusknors in there, and we'll talk.
isn't that what Tord played though? Tropico's Boufflant.
Yeah, they played like a Tarap.
He played like a 101 Dusknor, I think,
Yeah.
which honestly might be enough.
That's what I was playing. That's what I was playing the one day, and you guys were like, "George, what are you doing?" And I also had
I never said that.
I had Brute Bonnet in there with Monkey Dory. You're like, guys, so what you had to do in there? I was
George Reclev, ladies and gentlemen.
I was
truly a prophet of that we do not deserve.
Kyle, who's winning?
Yeah, you all said some pretty strong candidates. Dragapult is the deck I've tested the least, actually, most simply because I think it's kind of boring. But it's also like a little bit too close to trigonometry, and my brain is simply too smooth to do that. I'm gonna go Raging Bolt. I don't think enough people are talking about Raging Bolt as a contender here. The deck is
Raging Bolt is very strong.
Yeah,
it's very strong.
I also didn't want to get too many opinions about it because I didn't want Brad Brown to hear it and be like, "Fuck you, George." But I don't know. I mean, as a Gardevoir player, give me all the Raging Bolts.
Kyle, when's this episode going up?
It's going to go up on Thursday.
On Thursday? Oh, I don't want to leak what Brad's been cooking up then, but
do not. Don't be that guy.
Do not.
Yeah, I will. I will not do that.
Like here's Dragapult is Raging Bolt is strong, and I think the argument that George is making is that and you can make that same argument for a lot of different decks because everything is a lot weaker right now. Everything has a glaring flaw, which is what I think makes this format actually pretty fun. Like nothing feels incredibly overpowered. Like, even something like Terra Box that came out the gates like, oh my God, this is insane stuff. Like even that has like we talked about some pretty fatal flaws. So I think everything's actually pretty evenly matched right now, which is pretty sick.
Yeah.
And judging from what's coming out next format, I don't think things are a lot going to change except we get Bench Barrier back, which is even healthier for the game.
Shaman is the only card that matters next set.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that in the latter.
I mean,
half,
we'll see how we'll see how the Rocket stuff plays out. But
yeah, that's true. We still haven't seen all of that yet. But I'm gonna go Raging Bolt. I think that deck is like, and to echo something that Brad said forever ago, is that the first format for the first regional in a new format kind of sets the pace for everything else. People are going to lean towards consistency, and Raging Bolt, whether you choose to play it with the Noctowl engine or not, has built-in consistency. You're able to hit big numbers faster than other decks can, and I still think that's that cannot be slept on. So, how you get through those single prize matchups, that depends on how that shows up. But we'll touch back here next week and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Andrew, thank you for joining us for the first half of this episode. We appreciate you hopping in.
Of course.
So. I'll be on in a little bit to kick your ass.
All right, sounds good, man.
Let the people know where they can find you, Andrew. So.
Of course. I'm pretty much only on Twitter. Find me at ZucchiniNJ. I post when I feel like it, which is not often. So follow me if you want to. But
let everybody know that how much you love Andrew's new mustache he's got going.
Yes, please. I'm trying over here, man.
Read the sign.
All right, thank you for joining us on that quick commercial break. Great talking with Andrew. That was very insightful. Not gonna lie, I think that's the smartest I've ever felt talking about Pokemon right there. So,
really?
I don't know, because sometimes I don't feel like I convey my thoughts well enough. Maybe it's the autism. Yeah, I don't feel like I feel like I know a lot about the game. I don't always convey it the best in a speaking setting. But maybe I'm just being hard on myself. I don't know. Am I unearthing some trauma right now?
I don't know what you're talking about, and it's freaking me out a little bit. What I will say though is this: I think it was a high level conversation all around. So good on you, brother, for being proud of yourself. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man. All right, so we talked a lot about Atlanta. Let's take a peek into the future of what happened this weekend. George and I, and I know George was watching because he was also in Azul's chat watching the Champions League this past weekend in Miyagi.
Wait, real quick, before you get into that, like when you see my name pop up, like what are you like? What is he doing?
You're just probably saying some nonsense.
But I thought I was bringing some good shit.
I'm sure you were, because listening to Azul streams are so funny because he like my favorite is just like when someone comes in and he just gets so tired of like them asking like how many rounds the tournaments are or like what round the tournament is in, and he just keeps adding more rounds to the tournament. He's just like, it's gonna be 4 more rounds until you ask something, chatter, but now it's 5 rounds, so I don't know, and it's just very funny. He's a very good entertainer. But yeah, it was just funny seeing you in there. I know you have Azul on all the time, so I can't say I'm shocked. But
Yeah, I'm as much as like I will never like go up to him and be like, "Oh, dude, I watch your stream and stuff." I do watch his stream a lot, to be honest.
I also find it like funny that you were there, knowing that I just dropped you off earlier, and you were literally like watching the basketball games like a couple hours earlier. So
Yeah, I was going to bed and it was on Champions League. Why not?
bro, locked in. So yeah, so we got a peek into the future this weekend with the Champions League in Miyagi. They're playing in a format that we're never going to get, actually, because they are playing with half of our destined rivals set. They don't have the Team Rockets cards in Japan yet, so in a format we'll never get. And I got to be honest, George, you could have told me this is the standard format now, and I would have believed you outside of one card, because a lot of Dragapults, a lot of Gardevoir, a lot of Terrabox. I don't really think. Maybe it's just because we haven't gotten the Team Rocket stuff yet. That's probably what it is. But Heat Wave Arena by itself feels like kind of a flop. Nothing new here outside of that one very popular Shaman EX card. You got any thoughts here?
Yeah, why the hell didn't they just combine these two sets for us? Like,
Well, they did.
Why did they?
Because that's the set I do things in Japan. Japan gets 2 half sets. We get that half set combined into one set. So
No, but most of the Heat Wave Arena, like the Ethan's Pokemon and Shaman, are in the next set.
yeah, that's what I mean.
But
Heat
like,
Wave
why
Arena-
didn't they just give us Shaman for this set so we could play like civil human beings and not have to worry about bench barrier?
I don't know. Why did they wait till now to give us Blaziken when Blaziken got revealed in a demo deck like 6 months ago? So there's no rhyme or reason as to why they do this stuff. It's insane. But yeah, looking at these two lists, it was won by Shun Ito with a Dragapult Dusknoir deck. No surprise.
Yeah.
The big surprise for me, though, is that Sparkling Crystal, the ace pick of choice back in here, which seems to have fallen by the wayside a little bit post-rotation in favor of Unfair Stamp. But otherwise, pretty standard run-of-the-mill Dragapult deck. You got your 4-4-3 Dragapult. You got your 3-2-1 Dusknoir. You got a Hawlucha in here to kind of help fix your math in other places. The Bear. And looking at this Gardevoir list, still really nothing special, although leading into an ace spec that you've been a big proponent of recently as a secret box. And a Morty's Conviction, which is interesting.
I'm probably just a genius. Also, there is something in here that is very important that you're missing out.
Through Monkey Dory?
Nope.
In the Gardevoir list?
Yeah.
It's a Morty's Conviction that I just mentioned?
No.
Oh, that's right. Big mascot himself, the Squawkabilly.
Yeah, Squawkabilly. I've been thinking about Squawkabilly in this deck because turn 1, if you go first, like you are just cooked a lot of times. But then I thought about it. I don't even know how this did so well. Like in the mirror, that's just a free 2 prizes right there.
Sure.
Like,
yeah, that's interesting. Maybe it's just one of those things in the mirror you just don't put it down. That's what I would imagine.
Maybe. I mean, it's such a liability in a deck that you want to limit the liabilities. Sorry, excuse me. Oh, having like a hiccup attack here. Sorry.
Yes, he's dying. I can't save you though, so don't die. Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe it's just one of those things where like against those like matchups where you're going to be a little bit slower, your bench liabilities aren't like huge assets. They're not going to like completely destroy you. Maybe you don't put it down. I'm looking at the third place list. Oh, the third place list isn't published yet. So, but so far I think from when I was watching Azul stream, there's only a singular, like, I think there was one Cynthia's deck that I saw that played on stream. But it didn't even play like the Rose Raid. It played a Monkey Dory package. We saw one Ethan's Ho-Oh on stream, which didn't play like it played like a version of the Firebox deck, but it also played Monkey Dory. So it goes back to what you said earlier. The Monkey Dory is an insanely good card in anything that it gets to be thrown into. The Ethan's deck was interesting because it just like attacked with Ho-Oh as an attacker, which was interesting work. And then I guess you just use the double Monkey Dory to fix your math elsewhere. But yeah, pretty much it's just an array of Raging Bolt and Terra Box, Gardevoir, the one Walls deck, and the one Monkey Dory Frostlass deck, which is not sure if you put much reps into that, but that deck is funny.
Yeah, no, thanks. That's not for me, dog. But the 7th place list, Gardevoir, if you want to bring that one up, Kyle, take a sneak peek at that. This is something that I really have been looking at about Gardevoir. And I know I talk about Gardevoir so much, and I apologize, but I'm a Gardevoir fiend. I love Gardevoir. I love Charizard. It's only 2 decks that I play. I'm a loser. I get it. Make fun of me now. But what I will say, though, is it has elements to this list that a lot of things that we've been saying. 3 Monkey Dory, right? Monkey Dory is very strong. 3 Dark. You want to make sure you're getting Monkey Dory out. It's playing the Morty's Conviction, playing Secret Box. One thing that you suggested to me was the 3 Bravery Charm, and also the 4 Stretcher that I've been really, really big on. This list is very similar to what I'm going to be bringing to Atlanta. What I don't like about it is only the 2 Rare Candy and the no Evo. Feel like you're losing a lot of flexibility here. But this is what the problem with Gardevoir is like you can't fit everything. It's just not possible. You can't fit everything. So you have to make like really like crazy cuts. And I think what the point I'm getting at here is no matter what cut you go, it's based on your play style. So like this got 7th, the other one got 2nd, both with Secret Box. To me, Secret Box by far is the correct aspect in this deck. And then, you know, like the skeleton of the deck is just very strong. You're talking about Screamtail. What did you say earlier? Anything that can hit the bench, very powerful in this format, right? Yep. Drifloon with Bravery Charm can knock out basically anything in the format when you tie in Monkey Dory. Gardevoir by itself, very strong attacker. Draw powers and Mew EX with Fez and Dippity EX. Clefairy knocking out dragons. It's like really like the skeletons of the deck is very strong. I am very, very shocked that people are downplaying it going into Atlanta, and it might just be meta manipulation at this point.
Yeah, it could be. Again, there's so many good decks going into the weekend, but I think Gardevoir has always had like its very loud like subsection of people that support it. And I think those people are going to show up in spades because, like you said, the deck still has plenty of tools. You know, you did lose a lot. You cannot ignore that. But I think the deck still has enough of a foundation to where it can compete. It's just a matter of, like you said, you're making some very like surgical like type cuts where you're not just cutting off a pinky, you're cutting off limbs. Like you can't fit everything in here. But and it's interesting. And I think getting a peek into the future is not necessarily I guess it means that just things aren't going to change that much. We'll see what happens when we get the Team Rocket stuff out, because very clearly they're setting those up to be quite formidable stuff. And I think we can kind of transition to that now because we got to look at some more Team Rocket cards over the weekend, George. Highlighted by a couple of pieces here. And I think I would like to start with yes. Love it. Giving you a notepad has been very fun for the episode today. But yeah, we got to look at some new Team Rocket cards highlighted by a couple of interesting ones. And I would like to start with the return of one of everybody that played for a long time, one of their favorite supporters, the spiritual successor to Bridget in Team Rocket's Proton. It's a supporter card. And it reads, if you go first, you can use this card on your first turn. You can search your deck for 3 basic Team Rockets Pokemon, reveal them, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Turn 1 Bridget is back, George.
It's so back. I think that this card had to be done because Badoo, right?
Sure.
I mean, I could see Team Rocket's deck getting absolutely ran over by Badoo. I get it's turn 1 that you can use it, but like you could use it whenever too. So like, I think this is like a 4 of 3 of in a deck in a Team Rocket deck.
Yeah, I mean, considering that you and like, even then, even if you want to play a 1 of or 2 of this card, it's fine because you play the Team Rocket receiver to let you like cherry pick this out of your deck. So like this is an archetype where you can like really you can play the thin lines of these supporters that you maybe only want to see 1 or 2 of because you can just cherry pick it out of your deck with other stuff.
You know, the other one though, the Petrol
Yeah.
that got shown, that's the only way I believe you can go find a stadium card right now.
It's one of the only ones you can, yeah, outside of like Coral's Tenacity or whatever that card is. Yeah, that's also not bad here. Team Roch's Petrol, like George mentioned, search your deck for a trainer card, put it in your hand. A spiritual successor to Skyla. I believe it's what the card that did this a while ago. Yeah, not a bad card at all. All these Team Rocket cards, even like at like their bare minimum, are like pretty good. The other two trainer cards we got here, Team Rocket's Venture Bomb, an item card. Flip a coin. If heads, you put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. And if tails, you put 2 damage counters on your active Pokemon. This card is going to change the game, George. I don't know how you feel about it.
I saw Henry Brand tweet. He's like, cool, let's just make Monkey Dory stronger.
Yeah. I think this is something that has been lacking in the format where not every deck has an option to put damage counters on their own Pokemon. You're seeing decks play like Calamitous Mountain to like be able to get damage on their side of the board just so that they can activate Monkey Dory. So this is one of the few Team Rocket cards where you can see it play outside of the archetype. Like this is gonna change the way the decks are played. So I think this card is very, very interesting in how it's going to be utilized, and it's funny. It's a gag bomb. It's very, very interesting. And lastly, near and dear to my heart, the return of Capturing Aroma, Team Rocket's Great Ball. Flip a coin. If heads, search your deck for an evolution Team Rocket's Pokemon and put it in your hand. If tails, search your deck for basic Team Rocket's Pokemon and put it in your hand. Give me Team Rocket's Lugia. I'm back, baby. We're so back.
Well, they gave you one legendary bird, or a couple legendary birds.
That's true. They gave us 3 of them, which I think are interesting, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about them yet, but we can talk about them now. The legendary birds famously also existed back when the original Team Rocket set, so I love the callback. Highlighted by Team Rocket's Moltres EX. It's a basic fire Pokemon, 220 HP. For fire, double colorless, you do it's flame screen. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 50 less damage from attacks. And for fire, colorless, you do evil burn. You discard a Team Rocket's energy from this Pokemon, and if you do, discard your opponent's active Pokemon and all cards attached. So you do not take prize cards, but you discard a whole threat in the active, which is a pretty steep cost for what you're doing. But in some instances, I can see this attack being very, very good.
Bad.
I don't disagree with you. I think it's you're doing a lot. You're burning a lot of resources just to not take a prize card and banking on your opponent not being able to like reset that up. Like if you discard your opponent's Dragapult with everything with all the fixins attached to it, yeah, that's kind of annoying. But I also do feel like that this is pretty mediocre for what it's trying to do.
And the first attack is horrible.
Yeah, that's just not cutting it anymore. I hate attacks like this because these types of attacks have not caught up to the power level. Why can Pikachu do 300 damage and just blow up my entire board state, but like a 3 energy attack for 110 just feels like an insult at this point. Where
it's colorless, and Pikachu, to be fair, is 3 different energy types specific. So
and there is a Rocket's energy you play with, but still, like it feels insulting, quite frankly.
Yeah, I agree. Bad. Just bad. Team Rocket's Articuno with the ability Resistant Veil. Prevent all effects of your opponent's Pokemon attacks. Let me reread that. I read that awkwardly. Prevent all effects of your opponent's Pokemon's attacks done to your basic Team Rocket's Pokemon. So it works on the bench.
Good card. I think it's a good card.
Good.
I think this is good. Yeah,
And then Dark Frost, 60 plus damage. If this Pokemon has a Team Rocket's energy that you just mentioned, it does 60 more. For a water Pokemon, 2 energy with the Rockets doing 120 with that ability. Good card.
yeah. I think the attack is whatever. Like it's a single press attacker, and you're burning a rocket's energy. We at least right now, there's no way to recover that. But given that they're giving Team Rocket everything, who knows? Maybe they'll also get special energy recovery. But I think this card's purpose is to make sure that you have a fighting chance against Dragapult EX, and like other attacks that like put damage onto the bench. It's good. I think it's really, really good. It also prevents. This effect also stops Soblock, so you can't get your like heavy Team Rockets Pokemon stuck in the active, from Soblock. So that's interesting. Lastly, which is one of my favorite cards of all time, the original version of this, the Rocket Zapdos, from back in the day. Great card, one of my favorites of all time. We have the spiritual successor to that, quote unquote. You have Jamming Wing for 2 colorless, 30 damage, moving energy from your opponent's active Pokemon to their bench Pokemon. And Bad Thunder, fitting name for a bad attack. Lightning double colorless, 60 damage. If this Pokemon has a Team Rocket's energy attached, it does 60 more. Just whatever. It's bad. Bad card. 1 out of 3 is pretty. It's pretty rough.
2 out of 3 ain't bad. Well, 1 out of 3.
1 out of 3 ain't bad.
Meatloaf wouldn't agree here.
Yeah. Other than that, we did get a Team Rocket, the reveal of Team Rocket's coughing. It has the Alert Smog ability. If it's damage in the active spot, you can search your deck for 2 Pokemon with coughing in their name, put it onto your bench. The Wheezing does 40 times all Pokemon in play with Wheezing or coughing in its name. Sure, why not? And then the Team Rocket's Crobat EX has the Bite About ability. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve, you can put 2 damage counters on 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. And then for Double Dark, Assassin's Return, 120, and you put this Pokemon back in your hand. I don't get it. This feels really bad.
So there used to be a Crobat SP that was similar to this.
Yes.
So I guess that's where they're getting the ability from.
Yeah, there's also a Golbat that had the same ability from way back in the day, because Golbat has the Sneaky Bite. It's the same ability, but it's 2 damage counters to 1 Pokemon. So,
are they going to print some kind of scoop up net?
Team Rocket Super Scoop Up? That's more likely than you think. I don't know, man. It just seems so like these abilities seem so like stuck in the 90s. Like, I don't know. I need to see the vision in action. It's cool that we're finally getting some dark Pokemon revealed, which is cool. So that way the Rocket's energy does fulfill Darkness energy as well. So these can all be powered up in 1 energy attachment. And I guess being able to recycle that resource is fine, but it seems pretty mediocre. So all we're missing is the Arbok. I think we're gonna get the Arbok EX. I think that's the.
But you know what, Kyle? Like, what's the point of it having 310 HP if you're just gonna like
pick it back up again?
Yeah, like
I don't get it. Maybe there's some control shenanigans that my brain is just not developed enough to see. But other than that, I don't get it. But so far, at least the supporter line though, sick. And I think that's been the theme so far from the Team Rockets cards is that these supporters are in a vacuum. Completely busted, but the Pokemon outside of Mewtwo and maybe like a couple of other instances have been pretty lackluster. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, they did also show one other line, Team Rocket's Tyranitar line. The Larvitar, it's just a Larvitar. It's Buddy Boffin, searchable with 70 HP, does 10 damage, discard the top card of your opponent's deck, a little bit of a mill action. Sure.
The Pupitar's kind of sick, though. The Pupitar does Ascension with the damage, which is kind of sick.
Oh, wow, yeah.
30, and you search your deck for a Pokemon that evolves from. So that's kind of awesome. I'm kind of into that.
And then you automatically put 2 damage counters on it because you're evolving it to the Tyranitar, which has the Sandstream ability with 180 HP, fighting type, weak to grass. But the ability says for Sandstream, as long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, put 2 damage counter on each of your opponent's basic Pokemon during Pokemon Checkup. So theoretically, to your point, Kyle, do a little extension, right? 30 damage to the active. Search your deck for the Tyranitar, put it in there, spread 20 damage on each of your opponent's basic Pokemon.
Yeah, I think this is like another like Tyranitar card that like in like Spirit that used to exist back in the day. I believe the archetype was called Rocklock. I don't remember exactly what that entails, but I think this is interesting. I think enough people are people who are much smarter than I am have you know kind of tapped into this deck that are like, nah, I think this ability might be pretty good. But we'll see.
I mean, it's got Frost Monkey Dory written all over it now.
Oh yeah, and you throw a gravity gemstone on that sucker, forget about it. This puppy ain't going.
Forget about it.
You ain't going anywhere, pal. I think it's cool. Tyranitar's a cool Pokemon, so I'm on. We'll see how this shakes out here, but
I'll probably never play it, but I'll be happy to see it do well.
yeah, I mean, I'm kind of so stoked that we're getting like these because these cards are getting like sprinkled in throughout the week. Like we're getting just like there's so many Rockets Pokemon. I guess I just have to like find time in which to like reveal all these Pokemon. So pretty exciting stuff. I'm excited to see where the rest of the set goes.
Do you think that set is going to be the hardest set to get out of all these other ones? Like, do you think it's going to be harder than Journeys Together and Prismatic?
Yes, and it's not even close. 1000%.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm like, you know, it's because like there's a couple of guys in my that I work with that collect the cards also. And even they're like when they're even like, I don't know if I'm gonna get my hands on this product or not. That's how I know it's gonna be bad out there. So hug your local card shops at night, folks, because trying to get this is gonna be tough.
We're lucky because we're always going to get it, right?
I would hope so, but yes, you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think it's time to quit the Pokemon serious talk. It was cool to look at some of the cards, but you revealed to me what this week's Squawk Overseas is, and I'm not gonna lie, I am jazzed up about this one, Kyle.
Yeah, so for this week's edition of Squawker Seas, it's very fitting. We talked about at the top of the show. The Nintendo Switch 2 had a big press conference reveal over the past weekend. Revealed a lot of stuff, you know, some hardware stuff, new Mario Kart game coming out, new Donkey Kong game, which is really cool. Bunch of new features on what the console is actually going to entail, and also how much it costs, which is insanity, but that's a conversation for a different day.
I don't think it's that much. Can I just comment on that real quick before we jump into it? Because if you think about it, $500, it is a full console, right? And Nintendo is like very trend setting that like it's also a handheld too. So you're getting a handheld and a full console, okay? Where like $500 also gets you like a PS5 or a Xbox One, like the new one as well. So like I don't think it's like that out of price for what is the going rate of game consoles.
I don't disagree with you if it weren't for the fact that the Nintendo Switch was $350 when I bought mine. So,
this is a little bit better, no?
I would say so. I mean, yes, on the principle that like compared to the other console you just mentioned, I can actually like name the games I can play on this. Like,
I think the game pool is so much better that like I don't know, like
at launch, considering if what they're promising to us like comes to fruition, yes, I agree with you. So I'm still gonna get one regardless. So
yeah, the new Mario Kart alone being like open world, people are like, we're getting Mario or we're getting Nintendo GTA before we're getting GTA 6. Yeah. It's like hilarious to me.
Yeah, no, that game's gonna feed families, and you get to play as the cow from Moo Moo Meadows, which is sick. So I'm into that. But fittingly, another thing they announced this weekend during the Switch Direct is that GameCube games are coming to the Nintendo Switch, which is really really cool. As someone that grew up in that era, you know, George and I are around the same age. We both grew up with the GameCube. That's really cool, especially considering that some of these games are very expensive to own physically. So
probably my favorite console of all time.
It's probably mine too. I have a lot of hours invested in the GameCube. So
that or N64 for me.
Mine was definitely the GameCube. This is the first system I owned like by myself. So this is like my wheelhouse. Like I'm Barry Bonds hitting 700 home runs with the GameCube. So we're gonna Squawker Seas GameCube games. So I figured this would be a fun one for myself and George. A lot of ground to cover here. So without further ado, George, I'll open the floor to you. What is the first game you like to submit to be Squawked or Seas in this week's edition?
So one of my favorite games of all time on the GameCube was Zelda the Wind Waker.
Ooh, okay. Uh, I have to think about this one for a second because I don't want this to be a Squawk Fest because it's easy to make this a Squawk Fest because there's a lot of good games here. But I will squawk The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker because Zelda is one of those games where I feel like everybody is. It's like a lot like Pokemon, where everybody is the most attached to whatever the first one they play is. And my first Zelda game that I ever played by myself was the Wind Waker. I love the cartoony art style. I think that style of art ages the best out of any of these more modern Zelda games. Granted, a lot of them all get HD releases anyway, so they get brought back up into modern times.
Yeah.
But I just absolutely love this game. I love the art style. I love the dungeon layout is super duper cool. I like when Zelda has the magic element in there also. So, a lot of up until like I think it was like after this point where like Twilight Princess came out and like other games where like you don't get to dive into like having a magic meter like you used to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna squawk it. I love this game.
It's a great game. And that's also going to be one that's available on the GameCube part of Switch 2, which might just sway me to buy it enough.
Yeah, I'm stoked on it. That's really, really cool. And I think I will also open the categories. This I have a very specific story with this one game, so I will, and I think I'm going to package these together because they both kind of fit in the same article. I'd be failed to mention it right now. Squawk receives Pokemon Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness.
So I never played XD Gale of Darkness. I don't really know what it's about, if I'm going to be honest with you. Coliseum, I owned a GameCube, and then my one of my friends, my former roommate, had Coliseum. I played it for a while, got really bored with it. I don't know if it was just like I bet if I played it when it first came out, I'd be like, this is the sickest game of all time. But like playing it now, I'm like, and then I think like because playing Sword and Shield, playing Scarlet and Violet, like it was those games back then. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it wasn't as good. So, this is weird, but since I never played Gale of Darkness either, I'm going to seize it.
Tough, but I understand your logic. Now, if I can get on my soapbox for a second, I love these games. These games they formed like very like important pillars of my childhood. I again, grew up playing the Pokemon games, obviously, and this is Pokemon's first, real attempt at like a proper Pokemon game in 3D. To now what we have now with X and Y and Scarlet and Violet and everything since then. It's a very different concept. As a kid, I thought it was the coolest thing ever because it's like, oh, the Pokemon are evil. You have to unlock their hearts. It's like so edgy, like mid 2000s kids shit. It's like so. I was like eating that stuff up. I played these games a lot. I put a lot of man hours into these games. XD Gale of Darkness is like the same concept where it's just like you're trying to liberate Pokemon that have their hearts closed off. It's more or less the same game, just with a couple different bells and whistles.
Sounds a lot like the Disney game,
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts. Yeah,
it's got the same motifs, kind of, sort of. One of my a story I'll tell quickly about this game is that I once got grounded in the 5th grade, and my mom took my GameCube away for a week, and I got withdrawal sickness from not being able to play Pokemon Coliseum for a week. I was like shaking and like I had like the chills, like I was some sort of recovering drug addict. And my mom's like, "What the hell's the matter with you? It's just a week." So if my dedication to Pokemon goes no bounds. So I love these games.
Kyle, have you ever seen the meme with like Michael Jordan?
Yes.
Stop it.
Yes, I should.
You need help.
Yeah, 1000%. I mean, I knew that a long time ago. I host a podcast.
Oh, there you go. There you go. All right. So I'm going to give you a layup little softball here because it is one of the greatest games of all time on the GameCube. Let's be honest. Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah, it's hard to ignore. And also it's just from like a casual perspective, I put so many hours of my life playing Super Smash, playing Melee on a GameCube. Like, uh, it was sick. You get to play as all your favorite Nintendo characters and some you've never even heard of, and a platform fighter. It's really, really cool. As I've grown older, obviously my career trajectory has taken me to where I get to see these games in a different light, in a competitive sense. And watching competitive Super Smash Bros. Melee is like some of the most exciting stuff you'll ever see on like in a competitive gaming scape. Like what these people have to physically do to like play this game at a top level is is beyond anything I'll be able to do ever. So I'm squawking this to all the way to heaven. So
Who's your go-to character?
I like I like sword characters when I play Super Smash Brothers. So I was a Marth guy when I played. I
Marth.
also like Kirby. Kirby's cool. So he's bad in Melee, but I like him.
You know who I played with?
You look like you play like with Captain Falcon.
No. I played with the Eskimo climbers.
Ice climbers.
Ice climbers, yeah.
I would never pin you as an ice climbers guy. That's cute.
Yeah, they had like a crazy combo you could do with them.
Yeah,
I forget what it was, but it was.
I gotta show you. Yeah, they're disgustingly good. And even like my vision of certain video game characters are tainted because of Super Smash Brothers, and like the ice climbers is one of them because they're toxic in some instances, but they're also very.
Are they really?
Oh yeah, there's some stuff I'll show you later. Just look up what wobbling is, and you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, this might be considered a layup. I really like this game. I don't know how you feel about it. Squawker sees Luigi's Mansion.
So, funny story about Luigi's Mansion. When I first got the GameCube, it came with Luigi's Mansion. That's how old I am. And I played it, and I got scared.
It's okay. I did too.
So I brought it to Funko Land.
Wow. You're really showing your age there, pal.
And returned it and got store credit for it. And I believe, I don't know what I got. I think I got like a bunch of sports games because, yeah. But yeah, I think I got like Madden and like Blitz and stuff with it. But I think it's actually a good game. Not for me though. I'm gonna seize it.
Understandable. I love these games. I was in the same boat where like I was terrified of everything as a kid. So it took me years to beat Luigi's Mansion because I would just like not be able to play the game without being terrified out of my gourd. But these games are great. If you own a Nintendo Switch and you haven't played Luigi's Mansion 3 yet, I highly recommend it. That is one of my favorite games on the system. It is an absolute blast. The game is so much fun. And play 2 because it's also on the Switch now.
So I don't want to keep giving you layups, man, but these are just like my favorite games. I don't really know what else to do. And I know they're just your favorite games too. Like, I just would feel so bad not saying it, but like I feel like I gotta say it, you know? So I'm just gonna say it. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
You know what? I wanted to maybe find a Devil's Advocate game. And I can't do it to this one. I love this game. Anyone that knows me knows that. I don't know. Maybe I've told the story on a podcast before. I don't remember. Sonic the Hedgehog is one of like the 3 tentpoles of my personality. This game was one of the first games that my parents bought me for getting good grades. It was a Friday. I did really good on my report card that marking period, and my parents bought me this game. It meant the world to me. This game still means the world to me. I remember when I was in the 5th grade, I caught pneumonia and I was in the hospital for a week. And the kids in my class like wrote me cards with Sonic the Hedgehog on it, like because they knew how much I like Sonic. So like this game like means more. Like I love this game. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't love everything about this game. I love 1/3 of this game. I love the Sonic and the Shadow levels because those levels are the ones I go back to play. The treasure hunting levels kind of drive me crazy. And the Eggman and Tails levels are like fine. But like So I do enjoy like a lot of what this game has to offer. So on the actual like game as a principle, I might seize it because I only go back to play 1/3 of it. I don't go back to play in its entirety. In terms of what this game means to me, like personally, I'm squawking it because this game means a lot to me. So,
How's the soundtrack?
oh, the soundtrack rips. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Bro, when I went to go see the Sonic Symphony while you guys were in Toronto, the second they started playing City Escape, I blacked out. I like lost my mind.
City Escape goes incredibly hard.
City Escape, Live and Learn, like these songs go they're insane. Like I've never felt happier to dedicate like so much of my personality to Sonic the Hedgehog than I did in that moment. It was pretty sick. Good game. All right, let's go. I'm gonna go down. Let's see. Looking through the list of games here, there's a lot. There's a lot to choose from. The GameCube's library is huge. For those of you that
I got to Squawk one of the ones you give me, right?
I got to give you a classic, Mario Kart Double Dash.
Yeah, Squawk. Jeez Christ, that game is nuts, dude. Oh God, possibly. No, I think I'd still say regular Mario Kart 64 over Double Dash.
It's tough. I played a lot of Double Dash.
Tough. But I mean, like the drinking game for Mario Kart 64, like drunk driving.
Oh, Mario Kart? Yeah.
Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Whatever. We call it the drunk driving, whatever. It's the same thing. Mario Kart's definitely a more PC name. But Double Dash is just like, I think probably the most competitive Mario Kart game.
I would agree. I really like Mario Kart 8. I think that game is a lot of fun, but in terms of just like what you're able to pull off in this game, Double Dash is insane. I bought my GameCube bundle with Double Dash included, so I remember that specifically as the game that came in mind. And as any kid does in the summer of 2000 and whenever this game came out, 2003, I think.
No.
Yeah, 2003. November 2003 is when it came out.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we're old, George. I put so many man hours in this game. I love it. Who are your racers of choice?
I always play with Yoshi in that, and I think I would pair him with Luigi a lot of times. I'm just like a green guy, you know.
Would you like to take a stab at who I played as in Double Dash?
Toad and
You're
Donkey
correct.
Kong.
You're close. I did play as Lattice Toad because the golden mushroom was broken. But this is one of the first games where you can play as the Koopa Troopa. So I played as. So I actually like to play as the Paratroopa because you get the triple red shells as your special item, and red shells, as anyone knows, in Mario Kart are busted. So pretty good.
I also fun fact am absolutely broken. I don't think there's anybody on this planet that can beat me in Mario Tennis for N64 with Paratroopa or Koopa Troopa. I don't think anybody can beat me. I will. I'll play you for any amount of money. You will not beat me.
I won't take that challenge. I suck at Mario Tennis, but I hope someone's brave enough to do that.
I beat people without them scoring a point in a best of 3. So, yeah.
All right. Let's each do one more each. So George, what's your last game?
Last one that I'm gonna give you a weird one because I'm just curious, like your thoughts on it. Actually, no, I won't do that one. I'll do this one. This is Pikmin.
I'm actually gonna seize this one. I've never played Pikmin before. I don't want to go out on a limb and say it stinks. This is just not my type of game. RTS games have ever been like my speed. It's why I haven't played, and I really would like to give these games a try. I actually own Pikmin 3. I got that game for free like 1 year for my Nintendo because I'm a Nintendo like rewards subscription guy, and I think at the end of like one of the like their like year end deals, they like gave you that game for free, and I still haven't played it yet. Those games they're just not for me. I see the appeal. They're fine.
It stinks.
It's a game. The real time strategy games just aren't my thing. It's why I haven't played Fire Emblem because those games aren't really like my cup of tea either.
It stinks.
They're all right. All right. Let's see. I would be hard pressed if I did not mention this game. Super Mario Sunshine.
I never played it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why I never played it. I don't really play the Mario games, but what I hear is that it's very good. The one for Switch I heard was really good, or like was it like Super Sunshine or something.
Super. Oh, so it they released like a Mario 3D like 3-pack game where you can play Mario 64, Mario Galaxy, and Mario Sunshine all on one game. Like it's all in one cart. Sunshine's a lot of fun. It's not my favorite Mario platformer, but I put a lot of man hours into this game because it's what I owned as a kid. Going back to play it now, it feels like pulling teeth because it's kind of a hard game. It's like I hate collecting coins. It's like one of like the bane of my existence in Mario games. But
yeah, I'll squawk it because I know it's a good one. But what I'll say is like I think the reason why I didn't play it, Kyle, is because I played a lot of Mario 64.
Yeah,
and I struggled with that game a lot.
It's a hard game. It's a hard game.
When I saw this came out and I was like, this is like even more 3D and like looks harder, I was like, I don't know. I don't think this is for me. So I'm just not going to play it.
Tough choice, but a lot of good games to choose here, George. But that's a lot on the table. Is there any games you want to give an honorable mention to as like what your
Soul Calibur 2?
Ooh, I love that game.
That was going to be my last one, and then I went with Pikmin because I was just like, you know what, let me give you a weird one. Also, what is it? The Simpsons game? What is it called?
Oh, Simpsons Hit and Run.
Simpsons Hit and Run was a fun game.
That game's fun.
Like Homer just like making noises. And then the last one would be like Animal Crossing. We've all put probably a lot of hours into
I love Animal Crossing. Like, I'm not a huge Life Sims guy, but like something about being able to like something about my neighbor being a giant chicken in a suit of armor is like really cool to me. I don't know.
I think we all have lost a lot of hours of our life playing Animal Crossing.
The first like month and a half of the pandemic was me just grinding Animal Crossing. I kind of missed that, not gonna lie. I was gonna mention Animal Crossing as one of them. I was gonna mention Mario Kart, but not Mario Kart, Mario Party. But there's so many Mario parties on the GameCube.
Right, Mario parties. All the Mario parties are good.
Yeah, they're all really good. I like all the GameCube Mario parties. I know that's kind of a hot take. I
think I just like all the Mario parties. They're just
good. If you ever want to if you ever want to test your friendship, play Mario Party. The last game I was gonna mention is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I love that game. And I haven't bought the remake yet, but I haven't played that game since I was a kid. And that game is phenomenal. So I can't wait to.
It's kind of like Pokemon.
Yeah, it's an RPG. It's a Mario RPG. I like the Paper Mario games, like those. Like I'm not a huge like RPGs are always really hard for me to get into because like they feel a little like over my head sometimes. Again, maybe that's the autism talking, but Paper Mario is fun because it's colorful and cute. So.
I just don't like it when I don't know where to go.
Yeah, that's hard. I spent a lot of time getting lost in like in overworlds.
I'm like, I did this already. Why can't I move forward any farther?
Yeah.
Why? And then I stopped playing it.
Oh, and also, because they did announce this at a direct, Kirby Air Ride. That game's a lot of fun too.
Kirby Air Rides, the like battle part of it is pretty sick.
Oh, bro, City Trials.
Yeah.
Oh, I was raised in those streets, bro. Oh my god. I can't wait to play the new one. I love Kirby. So that's there's a lot of good GameCube games. Let us know at home what your favorite GameCube games are. So,
what's your favorite GameCube game?
Yeah, let us know. What my favorite? That's a tough one. If I had to like,
your favorite?
I mean, Sonic Adventure 2 is like hard top. I love that game.
I love that game. I played that so much. I like every aspect of it. So like when you said like the treasure hunting, like the Batgirl and like the crocodile guy.
Rouge and Knuckles.
The crocodile guy.
No, that's right? Sonic. That's Sonic Heroes.
Well, no, the crocodile guy was also in like the Sonic for Genesis 32X, right?
Oh, the Knuckles. Yeah, Knuckles Chaotix.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just coming. I'm just a jaded Sonic fan, so like
I'm so old.
Yeah.
Talk about 32X.
Yeah, we just lost so many people in that moment. Only the real gamers are gonna understand that one.
Sega 32X ruined my Sega Genesis.
God, I miss
Yeah,
those days. Georgie,
miss 'em.
let the people know where they can find you.
Pony Bottle Champ, PNY BTL Champ, and the X platform. Posting some controversial Gardevoir content lately. Come yap. Kyle, where can we find you?
You can find me at Koopa and Jay across platforms. Not going to Atlanta, so I will not be there on the floor this weekend.
Loser.
I am a loser. But
I will do a vlog.
can just make sure you vlog yourself in misery at the airport when you fly in at 1:00 in the morning, because I need to see
Yeah.
silly George.
Can you bring the little stick thing for me?
If I can find it, yeah. I don't know where it is right now, but
Okay.
I'll see if I can find it before tomorrow. But yeah, that's gonna be it for us. Follow us at Squawkcast. Listen to us on YouTube and Spotify, and yeah, we'll get you guys on the flip side. We'll see you next week for our post Atlanta recap. So have a good time, everybody. See you next time.
Adios.